Hello everyone, Doug here from Verus Engineering, and today I'm going to show you how you can make some small modifications to your diffuser so you can get aftermarket exhaust fitted. Remark have sent us this aftermarket Catback exhaust and we've got it installed, and I'm going to show you the small changes we've done to our diffuser setup to get it working absolutely fine. Okay, now that we've just offered up the diffuser, we've installed a couple of bolts, really not that many. One here on this side, again on the other side, and then two at the far end. One here, one here. And then that's going to be able to let us know initially where any contact is being made with the exhaust, and then we can start making modifications from there. So let's have a look. Okay, so now we can see where the initial contact is being made with the exhaust. What we're going to do is we're going to mark up where we need to grind or cut some of the metal away. This bolt hole will move further down, so we're not going to lose any structural integrity. We're just going to relocate that bolt. It'll still be nice and secure, but we're going to start by removing that and see how much room that gives us. Here we go. I'm going to try and mark it with some paint marker. You can honestly use just about anything. Hopefully that should be visible. There we go. So we know we're going to need to cut off at least that much. So let's take the diffuser down again, and we're going to take that off and see how much of a difference it makes. Okay, so if you have a diff cover and a diffuser, it'll be two separate pieces. You can see it's bolted together here. And we're going to want to separate the two. You could cut with them connected, but if you do that you run a higher risk of cutting into either the diffuser or diff cover where you might not want to. So we're going to take that risk out of it. We only need to remove this side, and then we'll make our singular cut on each piece. Also, now that we've removed the diff cover and the diffuser, we're going to want to transfer this mark onto the diffuser. So it lines up perfectly, so it's really nice and easy to transfer over. Just going to make a small mark there, and then move it out the way, and then just straight down. So now we know where to cut on both the diff cover and the diffuser. So now we've got it clamped in place. You can see I've used some of the packaging from our exhaust to protect the diff cover. We've got our line marked up here. Remember, eye protection, because you definitely don't want to get a shard of metal in the eye. It really hurts. And then we're just going to take it slowly, and we're going to cut down that line until we get close to where it makes the right angle bend. And then we'll have a look and see how the progress is going. So let's do that. Oh my God, that grinder does not mess around. So now we've made our horizontal cut, we can now do our vertical cut here. It's always best to leave a little bit more metal on than we probably think we're going to need to take off, because you can always take the metal away. You can't add it, you can take it away. So let's do our vertical cut now. Also, a side note, you don't want to touch this with your hands because it's going to be very hot. The amount of energy it's taken to cut through that metal, it's going to be very hot. So I'm going to get some pliers, which I'm just going to run off and grab, and then remove it. Also worth noting now that it's quite a sort of harsh cut. As you can see, definitely wouldn't advise touching it by hand. You'll probably end up getting metal splinters in your fingers. But when we're happy with how much metal we've removed, we can then get a file out or just grind it smooth so that there's little to no risk of really causing much damage to yourself, which is never any good. And now we're going to do the exact same for the diffuser. Remember, goggles on, safety glasses on, and we're going to start with the horizontal, and then we're going to do, in this case, the vertical going that way. Okay, so now we've done that, we're going to put it back together, offer it up to the car, and see what we need to do next. It's a bit of a trial and error thing here. You want to obviously take off as little material as possible. So let's see how it goes. All right, so now that we've got the diffuser once again just offered up to the car, we can see, it's kind of hard to see from this angle, but if I pull this down a little bit, you can see that we have been able to make a decent amount of room where the exhaust was hitting the diffuser and diff cover there. Next though, again, it's out of focus, but here we're just catching on a rivet for one of these diffuser strakes, and again on the other side we're doing the same. So what we're going to do now is we're going to drop the diffuser and diff cover. We're going to grind down those rivets, but also we're going to try and manipulate the exhaust to get it a little higher, or angled up a little higher at the rear, just to give us a little bit so we don't get this bow happening, and we can sort of get it fit as best as possible. So it's more about adjusting things from now on rather than cutting metal away. Okay, so now that we have made some adjustments to the exhaust, basically we've just loosened all the nuts and bolts, played around with the hangers, oriented them in different directions, and that's gained us quite a bit of clearance. In fact, we're pretty much just touching on one rivet back here, but we'll probably grind down both just for a bit in case the rubbers allow some flex. We don't want it to rattle. We're still touching on where we made our first initial cut, so we're going to cut down the line of the exhaust on the diff cover. We'll see if we can get away with not cutting into the diffuser, but if we do, we're just going to do a small line into the diffuser, basically just cutting over the area where it will touch or might be touching, and then it's just a case of reassembling. All right, so we now know that the two rivets that are touching or close to touching our exhaust are this one and this one. So we're going to try first of all to just chop them off with some pliers. So here we go. Simple as that. Now they're pretty much flat. If you want to, you can get a file and you can file them until they're completely flush. But I think, considering we were touch and go with clearance anyway, that should be enough for us. So now it's just a case of making the cut here, and then we'll be ready for reassembly. You can see now that hopefully wasn't too daunting. Just some small modifications that you need to make to the diffuser and the diff cover and the tunnel cover, if you have all three, to get it all to fit with an aftermarket exhaust. Each exhaust is probably going to be a little different if it's aftermarket. With OEM, it's going to be pretty consistent, but it shouldn't be something that puts you off getting an exhaust or the diffuser. It's not too difficult to make the changes, and if you do sort of tackle it logically, you should be able to get it done pretty quickly. So if you have any questions for us, don't hesitate to contact us at sales@verus-engineering.com. We'll be happy to answer any questions you've got. If you want to have a look at some of our other products for other cars, this has obviously been a sort of generic install, but this was on a GR86. But we make parts for all manner of cars. So check out the website, check us out, give us a like, subscribe, follow, whatever, and we'll see you in the next one.